Well, it's Wednesday, Hump Day, April 28th, 2021. My name is Pam, and welcome to the reading of the Record Courier. As we usually do, let's begin our reading with the area deaths. John W. Hall, 83 years of age, passed away Friday, April 23rd at his residence. Visitation will be Wednesday, April 28th at the Green Family Funeral Home and Crematory Service in Manawa from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, where his funeral service will then begin at noon. Facial coverings and social distancing will be observed. Robert Edward Ritchie, known as Bob, 86, of Mountain City, Tennessee, passed away on April 20th at his home. A graveside service will be conducted at 3 p.m. on May 1st at Pleasant Grove Baptist Church Cemetery. And that concludes the reading of the area deaths listed in the online edition. So let's begin with our first article. Dr. Laura Herbert is Ravenna's next super by Diane Smith. The Ravenna Board of Education has named its next superintendent. Dr. Laura Herbert was approved Monday to succeed Dennis Hunkala as superintendent and will start the job on August 1st. Herbert, principal of Twinsburg High School, will be the fifth superintendent of Ravenna in the past 33 years. Her starting salary will be $127,000, which District Treasurer Craig McKendry says is on par with Hunkala's salary. The board, along with its consulting firm Finding Leaders, has been looking for a successor to Hunkala, who is retiring at the end of the school year after 10 years on the job. Herbert was announced as one of the two finalists for the position last week, with Jude Myers, superintendent of Gallia County Local Schools. Herbert is responsible for the education of 1,300 students at Twinsburg High School in Summit County, where she was hired in 2018 after working at Chesterfield Public High School in Virginia. She received an undergraduate degree from Ohio State University, a master's degree in curriculum and instruction, and a doctorate in educational leadership and policy from Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University. She has been in administrative roles for a variety of school districts. I feel fortunate to be asked to lead the Ravenna School District and to be part of such a wonderful and supportive community, Herbert said. I have already learned how much pride everyone has for being part of the Raven community, and I'm excited to continue charting a course that helps us overcome obstacles and be a school district that makes everyone proud. Herbert said no matter what role she has served, she has always kept a sign above her desk that reads, "Is it good for kids?" If we are always viewing decisions from the perspective of how it impacts kids, then they will have a positive experience with their education, she said. Hunkala will end his tenure on July 31st. 2021. Hunkala said he is committed to ensure a smooth transition as he hands off a role he has enjoyed in a community he loves. It has been my honor and privilege to serve the Ravenna community for the last decade, Hunkala said. My hope is that Dr. Herbert continues to build on all that has been accomplished as she takes on the leadership role of a district that has its community's support, is financially stable with the passing of a renewal levy in the fall, and will continue to put the needs of our student first. Twinsburg Superintendent Kathy Powers sent a letter to the district's family announcing the news, saying the process of finding a new principal would begin soon. She said she was saddened to see Herbert leave Twinsburg, but wished her well. Herbert said she is completing her third year as principal of Twinsburg High School. During that time, Powers said Herbert worked to ensure that academic, athletic, and school programs helped prepare students for success after graduation. Dr. Herbert raised the bar of excellence and enthusiastically encouraged student voice and choice, Powers said. Under her leadership, new and innovative courses were designed that provide a much more diverse and equitable menu of opportunity. An all-inclusive playground to become a reality by Caitlin McGarvey. One Nana's dream to build an all-inclusive playground for her special needs granddaughter is close to coming true. The Mila Hope and Rowan's Dream Playground will be located on the site of the former Waterloo Middle School on Route 44 in Randolph. It will break ground in late June or early July and is anticipated to be play-ready about 3 weeks after construction begins. The project is the result of 4 years of hard work by nonprofit Fields Playground Group President Susan Monaghan and her team of helpers. The playground will allow those with physical or developmental disabilities to play freely in an accessible, safe environment. Monaghan began work on it due to frustration at the lack of accessible playgrounds in the area. Her granddaughter, Mila DiGirolamo, now 8, has special needs. Those two were able to spend time at the all-inclusive SOAR playground in Stowe. Monaghan wanted families in Portage County to have a more local opportunity. My family had a need with a special needs little one, she said. We couldn't find a place to play, and that started our journey where we knew we weren't the only ones. Based on data Monaghan said she reviewed from schools and census reports, she estimated more than 2,000 Portage County children between the ages of 1 and 18 struggle with some form of disability. The new playground will allow them and all others to have a safe and fun place to play. The Mila's Hope and Rowan's Dream Playground will be about 2 acres in size and near the front of the property where the old middle school used to be. Monaghan wanted to take advantage of 2 beautiful shady trees there. Mila gets excited whenever she sees the poster board with the playground design on it, Monaghan says. Rowan Terahay, the playground's other namesake, is just as thrilled for it to open. She's the daughter of Fields Playground Group Secretary Amy Decker and uses a wheelchair and a walker. Like Monaghan, Rowan is very much looking forward to playing on the Ability Whirl, a merry-go-round that is flush with the ground for easy wheelchair access. A zip line with an ADA accessible bucket seat will also be implemented into the park. A similar zip line with a typical seat runs right alongside it. The park has a big emphasis on putting typical and special grounds equipment near each other. Amanda Phipps, social media director for Fields Playground Group, was excited about the different kinds of swings planned. There will be bucket seats for both smaller and older children, plus another kind of swing will allow a parent and child to swing together while facing each other. It's so important for families to feel accepted and like they can go to a place where they're not going to be looked at differently, and they feel like we're teaching the other kids how to be inclusive, she said. Phipps is the sister-in-law of Record Courier sports reporter Alan Moff. Equipment meant to accommodate the needs of autistic children will be incorporated too. In addition to sensory elements like chimes, there will be a few areas that children can retreat to if they feel overwhelmed. The Rockin' Robin is an egg-shaped chair that allows children to rock from side to side. Nearby will be similar chairs that let kids spin in circles. The surface of the playground will be made of poured-in-place rubber to allow for easy accessibility and minimal maintenance. The play area will also be surrounded by 11 benches for parents to sit on and watch their kids. We wanted a place where mom and dad can sit on one of those benches and know that their child isn't going to be anywhere but right there, and they can start to relax for the first time, Monaghan said. Making the playground accessible and inclusive is not an afterthought, Phipps said. Fields Playground Group wanted the space to be fun for typical developing children and also welcoming for people with special needs. All of our planning process for making sure the steps are the right color for visual impairment to the pour and play being accessible for wheelchairs, she said. Everything has been about making sure that we are making this as accessible as possible. Field Playground Group will donate the property the playground is on back to Randolph Township once construction is completed. It continues to strive to add to the project, however. One of the big dreams, Phipps said, is to put a sensory garden around the whole perimeter of the playground. They are also hoping to install an elopement fence with a locking gate to make sure children stay safely contained, too. We have raised enough to break ground and get everything for the playground, but now there's these pieces we'd like to add on to make it even better, Phipps said. Expenses for the playground were estimated to be around $500,000. Monaghan says $250,000 was awarded from the state's capital improvement fund with the help of former state senator John Eklund. A private donor also contributed $200,000 to the project. Other means of funding have come by means of grants, donations from companies and private citizens, as well as fundraising. Randolph Township initially donated the land for the playground and are helping with the final technical steps to flow funding from the state to the project. An Atwater resident has offered to do the grading for the project, Monaghan said. The group continues to hope top find and in-kind donations of asphalt or cement for the park sidewalks. Permanent restrooms will be part of the playground's second or third phase, which is a big part of why fundraising continues. Donations can be made to Field Playground Group and sent to the Portage Community Bank locations in either Kent or Ravenna. There will be another fundraiser at the future playground site in mid-May. On May 19th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. or 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., people can stop by for a preview and barbecue. The slop truck will be serving lunch and dinner. Baked goods will also be for sale, and all proceeds will go towards the playground. Ways to donate digitally or a printable donation form can also be found on the Fields Playground Group website. I talk to my kids all the time that just because somebody looks different doesn't mean they still don't want to play just like you. Everybody's excited, Phipps says. I can't wait to see it all come to light. U.S. Representative Tim Ryan launches bid for U.S. Senate in Ohio by Jesse Balmer. Democratic-Republican Tim Ryan launched a bid for U.S. Senate Monday. Ryan, 47, of Howland Township, outside Youngstown, entered the race after several months of speculation that the 2020 long-shot presidential candidate would run to replace Senator Rob Portman. He's the first and only Democrat in the U.S. Senate field so far. Several Republicans have already entered the fray, emphasizing their conservative bona fides and trying to prove their allegiance to former President Donald Trump. Ryan, who raised $1.2 million in the first week of 2021, might stand alone on the Democratic side. Ryan is wagering that his appeal to the working-class Ohioans can turn the red-leaning state blue again. He has borne witness to the Mahoning Valley's transformation from a blue-collar Democratic stronghold into a Republican bastion for Trump. That shift has been so stark that Ryan's safe congressional district could be erased or redrawn by Republicans during redistricting. So Ryan knows what he's up against in the race to replace Portman. A longtime advocate of unions, Ryan has made a career of talking to working Ohioans. Now's the time for us to have another senator who's going to fight like hell to cut workers in on the deal, Ryan said in an interview. Trump used a similar message to win Ohio in 2016 and 20, but Ryan said politicians need to focus on jobs of the future rather than doubling down on the broken economy of the past. Ryan's ad launching his campaign focuses on rebuilding Ohio manufacturing for the 21st century. It echoes Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown's message on dignity of work. It can't be businesses versus workers. It's a partnership, but that partnership needs to be redefined, Ryan said in the spot. We have to cut workers in on the deal. He recently rebuked Republicans for focusing on Dr. Seuss's books pulled from print rather than a proposal to strengthen unions. Heaven forbid we pass something that's going to help the damn workers in the United States of America. Heaven forbid, he said on the floor. Now stop talking about Dr. Seuss and start working with us on behalf of the American workers. But Ohio Republican Party chairperson Bob Paduchik said Ryan isn't the champion of the working class that he purports to be. For years, Tim Ryan tried to pass himself off as a champion of the working class. Sadly, his support of job-killing policies show he's just another fast-talking politician looking for a bigger job, Paduchik said in a statement. Ryan's support of radical left-wing policies do not represent the values of Ohio's working men and women. Ohioans won't buy this charade. Ryan had little to say about the GOP field which includes former Ohio GOP leader Jane Timken and former Ohio Treasurer Josh Mandel, adding that that's for them to figure out. Who is Tim Ryan? Ryan has served in Congress since 2003. Has replaced notorious lawmaker Jim Traficant. Before that, Ryan worked in Traficant's office and served in the state Senate. He is known nationally for challenging Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Ryan played quarterback in high school and for Youngstown State University. After a knee injury ended his football career, Ryan transferred to Bowling Green State University, where he earned a political science degree. He later graduated from the University of New Hampshire's Franklin Pierce School of Law. After the 2008 election, Ryan attended a mindfulness retreat where he learned there transformed his approach to politics and life. He wrote a book in 2012 titled A Mindful Nation and later incorporated yoga into his presidential run. His second book, Real Food Revolution, focused on reducing high-processed foods and supporting farmers who grow fresh produce. Up next, Ohio will lose one seat in the next Congress, by Anna Staver and Scott Wortman, Cincinnati Enquirer. It's official. Ohio will lose one U.S. House district next year, according to U.S. Census population counts released on Monday. The population count from the 2020 census determined how many seats in Congress and electoral votes every state will have for the next 10 years. Ohio will drop from 16 congressional seats down to 15 due to the Buckeye State growing slower than other parts of the country. Ohio grew by 2.3% from 2010 to 2020, while the country as a whole got 7.4% bigger, and western states like Utah grew by double digits. But Ohio wasn't alone in its slow Midwestern growth. Michigan, Illinois, and Pennsylvania all lost seats, along with California, New York, and West Virginia. On the flip side, Texas picked up 2 seats in Congress, while Montana, Florida, Oregon, Colorado, and North Carolina each gained 1. The data released Monday only went down to the state level, which meant the data team from the U.S. Census Bureau couldn't say which parts of Ohio were getting bigger or smaller, a key factor in determining how the boundaries for the new districts will be drawn. That data will come later. Once those numbers become available, states across the country will begin drawing new boundaries for their congressional districts. Ohio's process is dictated in its constitution, though the deadlines for doing so could be amended in August. For Greater Cincinnati, this could have major implications for Representatives Steve Chabot and Representative Brad Wenstrup. The 2 Republicans represent portions of Hamilton County. Central Ohio may face a similar issue. Delaware County is the fastest growing county in Ohio. It currently is represented by Republican Representative Troy Balderson, but the suburban home to many of Columbus's workers may finally need to be divided. Summit County, now split among 4 congressional districts, won't be divided the same way either. And Democrats face a challenge in Northeast Ohio, where declining population and shifting political alliances will likely lead to larger and more conservative districts. Assisting map makers who tend to protect incumbents when seats are lost. 3 of Ohio's 16 representatives are not seeking re-election. Representative Tim Ryan, a Democrat from Howland Township, is running U.S. Senate next year. Republican Marcia Fudge, Democrat Cleveland, took a post in the Biden administration as Department of Housing and Urban Development Director. Representative Steve Stivers, Republican for Upper Arlington, is leaving next month to lead the Ohio Chamber of Commerce. Both Fudge and Stivers will be replaced in special elections in November. And now it's time for Sound Off. Wondering if anyone else has seen a self-driving car on the road? We have seen a white Chevy in and around Streetsboro twice in the last couple weeks. It looks like a normal car, but there's no driver in the front or back seat. We were next to it at a light and were amazed to see it. Who would have thought this could have existed in our lifetime? Amazon's despicable crushing the union drive in Alabama by pushing the lie that members would have to pay dues, though Alabama is a right-to-work state, is another demonstration of corporate supremacy in America. This, a multi-billion-dollar company owned by the richest man alive with petty limitations on bathroom and lunch breaks. Amazon was standing up for the big guys. President Biden should use his executive power to halt corporations from using anti-union consultants to fight workers' rights. Republican Boebert's absurd comment that hammers cause more deaths than guns is another blatant Republican lie. Guns killed 9,000 people more than other means in 2019. The person who killed 7 people in a Charleston church, in a synagogue at Newtown in Las Vegas, used guns with multiple magazine rounds, not hammers. The Republicans' dependency for support from the NRA and gun manufacturers seems to be more important to them than American lives. You can email SoundOff to rpso@recordpub.com. Please keep your comments brief and civil, or we'll have to edit or not publish. No comments, positive or negative, about local candidates running for office will be accepted. The phone number is 330-298-1138. And now it's time for Portage County Crime Reports. As always, crime reports are a sampling of incidents responded to by local law enforcement agencies. They are not intended to be all-inclusive. In Aurora, a Cleveland man, 36, was charged with third-degree felony failure to comply with the order or signal of a police officer after he allegedly drove away from a traffic stop in the area of Birch Bark Trail and Poplar Court, went through a red light, and forced another vehicle to go off the road and nearly strike a telephone pole on April 19th. A warrant for the man's arrest has been issued. In Franklin Township, a 46-year-old man, last known address in Kent, was charged with second-degree felony burglary, third-degree felony violating a protection order, and first-degree misdemeanor theft after he allegedly entered the home of a township woman who has a protection order against him and took a BB gun and a pack of cigarettes from the home on April 17th. A warrant has been issued for the man's arrest. In Kent, a Franklin Avenue man, 23, was charged on Wednesday with fourth-degree felony carrying a concealed weapon after he was allegedly found in possession of a concealed, loaded handgun in the area of South Water and Cherry Streets on March 31st. The man was arraigned in Portage County Municipal Court in Ravenna on Thursday and released on a personal bond. In Ravenna, a homeless man was charged with fourth-degree felony disrupting a public service, first-degree misdemeanor making false alarms, and fourth-degree misdemeanor misuse of 911 after he allegedly called 911 5 times for non-emergency purposes and reported a non-existing emergency on April 20th. The man was arraigned in Portage County Municipal Court in Ravenna on April 20th and released on a personal bond. A Route 14 man, 43, was charged on April 20th with first-degree misdemeanor assault after he allegedly kicked an emergency healthcare staff member at UH Portage Medical Center. A summons to appear for arraignment in Portage County Municipal Court in Ravenna was mailed to the man. Well, my dear listeners, that concludes the reading of the Record Courier for Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. My name is Pam. Thank you for having me into your home today. Please be well until we're together again, and as always, I wish for you abundant blessings.